Welcome to our deep dive into some of the most dangerous towns in America. While you might think crime is mainly an urban issue, many small towns across the country struggle with significant safety challenges as well. In today's video, we're not just looking at crime statistics, we're exploring the root causes behind them, such as economic decline, lack of employment opportunities, and social isolation. These factors create a cycle of poverty and violence, making it extremely difficult for these communities to overcome safety concerns. Our goal today is not just to highlight these towns but to understand the deeper issues that contribute to their high crime rates. From Pine Bluff, Arkansas to Wilmington, Delaware, we'll explore how socio-economic struggles, underfunded services, and social dynamics shape these communities. Let's dive into the harsh realities faced by the residents of these towns and what can be done to break the cycle. We begin our journey in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, a town that was once a thriving agricultural hub. Today, Pine Bluff is known for its high crime rates, which are largely driven by economic challenges. As the local economy has declined over the years, job opportunities have dried up, leaving many residents without stable income sources. This economic downturn has led to a rise in property crimes, robberies, and violent incidents, making Pine Bluff one of the most dangerous towns in America. But it's not just the economic decay that contributes to this reputation. The town's limited resources for law enforcement and community programs have made it difficult to maintain safety. Many residents live in fear, knowing that emergency response times are often slow due to the lack of funding and personnel. Pine Bluff's story isn't just about crime, it's about a community struggling against economic decline and the absence of pathways for improvement. Next, we move to Detroit, Michigan, a city once renowned for its booming automotive industry. Detroit's economic downfall has been well documented, but its crime rates remain shockingly high despite numerous revitalization efforts. The city has experienced a sharp decline in population, leaving many neighborhoods abandoned, which, in turn, creates more opportunities for crime. High levels of gang activity, drug-related violence, and deep-seated poverty contribute to Detroit's dangerous reputation. Even with efforts to improve the downtown area and attract new businesses, the challenges persist in many residential neighborhoods. The police force, while determined, often finds itself overwhelmed due to a lack of funding and the sheer volume of incidents. Detroit's struggles reflect the broader issues faced by many cities in America. When economic revival doesn't reach all residents, crime becomes a survival tactic for some, leading to more safety concerns across the city. St. Louis, Missouri has long been known for its rich cultural history and iconic landmarks. However, the city also consistently ranks as one of the most dangerous in the nation. Violent crime rates in St. Louis are alarmingly high, driven by factors such as poverty, social inequality, and a lack of adequate public services. In many neighborhoods, law enforcement is spread thin, and community resources such as youth programs and mental health services are severely underfunded. These systemic issues create a breeding ground for crime, with residents feeling unsafe in their own homes. Despite efforts from local authorities and community leaders to address these issues, the deep-rooted socio-economic disparities make it difficult to bring about lasting change. In St. Louis, crime is not just a statistic, it's an everyday reality shaped by generations of neglect and underinvestment in the community. Flint, Michigan is infamous for its water crisis, but this town's struggles go far beyond contaminated water. The economic downturn that began years ago has left Flint in a state of disrepair, with rising crime rates becoming one of the most pressing issues. The city has faced a shortage of funding for public services, including law enforcement, making it challenging to maintain safety. Many residents deal with both economic and safety concerns daily, as job scarcity and poverty lead some to turn to crime out of desperation. Flint's situation is compounded by the ongoing effects of the water crisis, which has not only impacted residents' health but also eroded trust in government institutions. The lack of adequate mental health and rehabilitation services further intensifies the problem, as individuals who need support often fall through the cracks. In Flint, the high crime rates are a byproduct of systemic failures that extend beyond the criminal justice system. Memphis, Tennessee is a city that's famous for its musical heritage but infamous for its crime rates. Despite being a hub for music and culture, Memphis has a persistent issue with gang violence and drug-related crimes. The city's economic struggles have resulted in high unemployment rates, particularly in underserved neighborhoods. Law enforcement faces challenges such as limited resources and a high volume of incidents, making it difficult to control rising crime rates. Efforts to curb violence have included community outreach programs, but the underlying socio-economic issues make it hard to achieve lasting safety improvements. For many residents, the fear of violence is part of daily life, as personal disputes often escalate quickly due to the lack of social services and intervention programs. Memphis stands as a stark example of how cultural richness and socio-economic disparity can coexist, making it one of the most dangerous towns in the U.S. Camden, New Jersey, has long been considered one of America's most dangerous towns. Decades of economic neglect have resulted in high poverty rates and rampant crime, primarily driven by gang activity. Camden's history of violence is not just linked to current socio-economic struggles, but also to the lack of investment in community development. Many neighborhoods in Camden are plagued by drug-related crimes, with limited law enforcement resources available to tackle the problem. Residents often feel trapped in a cycle of poverty and violence with few opportunities for education or employment. Despite recent efforts to improve safety and infrastructure, Camden continues to face significant challenges in overcoming its reputation as a dangerous town. The city's story is one of resilience, but also of the urgent need for comprehensive strategies to break the cycle of crime. Despite being a prominent business center, Wilmington, Delaware grapples with its share of violent crime, primarily driven by drug-related issues. High unemployment rates and economic disparities are major contributors to Wilmington's crime problem. While the city is home to major corporations, many residents still face financial instability, which can drive crime rates higher. Drug trafficking and gang conflicts are common issues that affect safety across neighborhoods. Law enforcement in Wilmington faces challenges in addressing these problems due to limited resources and the complexity of gang networks. The lack of funding for mental health and rehabilitation services further complicates the situation, leaving many residents vulnerable to criminal activity. Across these towns, a common set of factors drive the high crime rates. Economic decay is perhaps the most significant contributor. When poverty and unemployment are prevalent, many people turn to crime out of necessity. The lack of resources for law enforcement and social services means that crime prevention efforts are often inadequate. In many of these towns, geographical isolation adds to the problem, making it harder for residents to access jobs, education, or health services. This isolation can also heighten tensions, leading to more violent confrontations. The cycle of poverty, crime, and stigma is difficult to break, as rising crime rates deter businesses and further economic decline sets in. Without comprehensive strategies for economic revitalization, increased law enforcement funding, and expanded social services, it's hard to envision a safer future for these towns. As we've seen, the most dangerous towns in America aren't defined solely by their crime rates but by a series of socio-economic challenges that contribute to high safety risks. From underfunded law enforcement to the cycle of poverty, these towns face a complex web of issues that require more than just policing to solve. Real change requires a focus on economic development, community support programs, and adequate funding for mental health and rehabilitation services. By understanding the factors driving high crime rates in these towns, we can better advocate for solutions that address the root causes rather than just the symptoms. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights into socioeconomic challenges across the U.S.